Welcome, everybody. It's really sweet to be here. Wanted to, Mike, should we start with the song or with the intro? Whatever. Yeah, sweet. So my name is Noah. Today I'm speaking to you from California. That's where I'm sitting in this moment. But I've been, living and working in the land for many, many years, and with SATYAM since the beginning. I think all of you know, but SATYAM is this Center for Peace based in Bejala, where we have had many gatherings and just a space for activists, Palestinians and Israelis who are engaging in nonviolent resistance, in nonviolent communication, in healing practices, and in service of liberation and of justice in the land, to come together and to kind of sow those seeds. What I've found to be the most powerful parts in my experience is those moments where we get to hold together, where I can watch the shoulders drop of all the activists who are out there doing work, and to have a moment to actually be held and nourished in the ways that we need in order to do that work. So I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And I wanted to start this with a song. I'm also a singer, and music has been a really big part of my journey, in my own journey of finding voice. And also in my journey towards activism, and looking around and seeing whose voices aren't being heard around us. And this song is a song I wrote a long time ago, but has come to take on new meaning in this last year and a half, 2 years. And it goes like this. It goes, if everyone can just maybe take a deep breath. And just kind of feel your body where you are. Feel the weight of your body wherever you're sitting. And notice if there's any tightness anywhere. And just breathe into the place that feels tight. And see if you can maybe take in this song and the softness. It goes like this. And I will go soft and slow, soft and slow. And I will go soft and slow, soft and slow. So close your eyes and lay your head down. Well, close your eyes, my dear, and rest your heart. We'll find what's been found. And rest your heart. I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Yeah, and that song, I will go soft and slow, started as a kind of lullaby, but in the last little while, feeling how the world comes at us fast and hard. It feels almost like an activist song. Like, I will go soft in the face of this. I will go soft. I will find the power I have in my softness. It's not weakness, and it's not capitulating. It's, I will be powerful and I will be soft. And as a way to be different, as a way to create new forms, new structures, new ways of being, I will go slow. There's a quote from that Beo Kumulafe, that these times are urgent and we must slow down. How do we meet urgency with slowness so that we can be strategic, so that we can meet it in a new way and not just with the same force that it's coming at us with? And my friend Hanin, who's from Gaza, who lives in Portugal, she translated this song into Arabic. And Hanin would sing the song soft and slow to her nieces and nephews in Gaza as the bombs were falling. And she would tell them, this woman, this Israeli woman wrote this song, and they couldn't believe that someone from Israel didn't want to hurt them. And I just feel so grateful that some melody could somehow make its way across that wall and maybe a tiny bit of comfort. Yeah, and I wonder, what else do we need to actually bring those walls down? Because it feels so important and also so small. So that's why we're here today. And with that, I'll pass it to Mai, who's going to tell us a bit about the hunger strike. And then we'll go to Adar.
Thank you for setting up the heart. It's day 17. I could already touch some bones. And it makes me wonder a lot. What does it even mean to the ones in Gaza? And every day I think deeper in this thought of, I'm still in my comfort. I'm home and very blessed by many, many people that supports me and cares for me. Yeah, my home is very warm and safe. And yet I feel my bones and I feel the grief and the loss. And it makes me wonder, what does it mean to the people in Gaza? What does it mean to the promises that we have given our children? Just an hour ago, they bombed again Dr. Sultan. They bombed him with his family. Yesterday, also on the opening of the Zoom, something the day before, a whole cafe. And it's continuing. And we're not yet hearing the roar of the streets. We're not yet out in it. We're not roaring, not for the hostages, not for the prisoners, not for the people in Gaza. We're not. And yet this feels the most powerful to hunger strike, to resist and to insist, not to forget, and to rise and to use every little bits of power that is possible, even if it means to hunger, even if it means to feel it in the bone and the body. This is resistance. This is wounds healing gently. This is how we reconnect and remind and remember. And to us, this is a reminder, a daily reminder, offered to as many people as possible to say we can and we are here and we shall. And the more we are, the stronger we are. Together we are much stronger. It touches me a lot to see faces that comes daily that continues to support and to believe and wakes up with the same heart and same soul that says again and again, whether I can, whether in bed, whether standing, whether fasting, whether singing. It touches me that we roar together, that we stand together, that we don't allow the system to separate us and makes us forget our power, but in the contrary. So thank you again. And we invite Adar. Adar, we can see you. We hope you hear us and you are here with us. I give it to you now. Thank you, Adar.
Hello.
We've met. Hello there. We've met briefly last week a few times already. And yesterday I was on their channel with them right after the Zoom on a conversation on nonviolent resistance and activism, what's happening in Gaza. And since we've met, I felt it's a strong voice to bring also to us, to everyone, to hear and to see the power of AI, what does it do, and how can it actually crazily support Noah.
Thank you so much, Mai, for the introduction, and it's really great to be here with everybody. So just a little bit about my background. You know, I grew up with a pretty typical Zionist upbringing. I was never taught to hate Palestinians, but I was taught that we need to fear them and we need to defend ourselves against them. That the only way we could survive on this land is if we're strong and if we keep this strong defense. Now, interestingly, it was my time in the IDF when I had this interesting realization, and it happened when I was guarding on base, and I was pretty bored. Guarding is not fun, it's boring, and there was this poster on the wall showing Hamas training techniques, and there was a Hamas soldier crawling through sand. And I looked at him, and I'd been crawling through sand the very same day. And for a moment, I saw myself in my sworn enemy. And I started asking myself, if I was born in Gaza, would that be me? Does his family view him as a hero and me as a terrorist? Is that possible? Is the difference between us really dependent on the side of an imaginary line we were born on? Can that be? Now, this moment didn't drastically change my views overnight. It took years for my views to change, but I like to think that that moment, a seed was planted. And over the next few years, after I got released from the IDF, did I start to understand that the narrative I was raised on was not so much a lie as much as it was half the truth. I never understood the Palestinian story in all of this, their struggle. And it kind of got me to do more of a deep dive and really learn who the Palestinians are and try to engage in the humanization process. I finally understood that the path to peace is really paved through the humanization of the other. So I was involved since 2014 in different organizations, helping them organize and promote, and I found it very fulfilling. And then fast forward to 2021, I never really did any of this full time because I just was busy with other companies and work I was doing. Fast forward to 2020, COVID hit and we were at home all day during lockdown. And I said, you know what? I'm going to launch a YouTube channel and start to host conversations between Israelis and Palestinians, really highlight the humanization process for the world to see. And I found that to be really meaningful and impactful. But I also noticed something else, that it's very hard to scale something like that. Our narratives are currently too different for us to just sit in a room and figure it all out without strong facilitation. But there's only a limited amount of facilitators. And I never really had a solution for this problem, but I did recognize it to be a problem. Another problem that I noticed in the world was, on one hand, we're more connected than ever before digitally. We can send messages to anyone in the world at the speed of light, but yet for whatever reason, we're more divided than ever before socially. Something about our current social media platforms brings out the worst in us. They polarize us. So as of around a year ago, with advancements in AI, my co-founder Adam and myself started to see solutions to the problems we're seeing, solutions in the problems that we currently have in social media, and solutions to the problem that civil discourse is very hard to scale. So together we came up with the idea of HeadOn. And the goal of HeadOn is really a platform designed to bring people with opposing viewpoints together for conversations. And these conversations are assisted with the help of different AI tools. So we believe that using AI and by building a platform designed specifically for productive communication, we could really scale civil discourse to millions of people around the world. Now, because of our connection to Israel, Palestine, and our passion for specifically this land and the people on the land and finding a solution, we're starting with Israel, Palestine. And we believe that if we can find a way to get Israelis and Palestinians to effectively communicate, then we can solve any conflict after that, because this is the most challenging, this is the most complex. So we're starting with the hardest, and then hopefully we could prove through this that there really is a way with technology to help people to foster better communication. So that's what I'm currently dedicating my full time to now. For the first time in my life, I'm able to connect my passion for peace building with the work I do. And it's just a great honor. It's a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We also wish to open it for questions if people have questions. I also wonder if you have an example where it actually worked already in solving a conflict, or is it already being used, or what are
Yeah,
yeah.
great. So just so people understand, sometimes whoops. Sometimes I'm looking this way and then sometimes I'm looking this way. My screen is here, so when you're talking, I'm gonna look at you. But then when I'm speaking, I'm gonna, as if I'm making eye contact, just so y'all understand why I keep looking in two directions. So in terms of what we've been able to prove with the technology, nothing quite yet because we're still building it. But before we are launching the platform, which should be in around 2 weeks or so, we're building this very strong community on Discord where we're having conversations almost every night. And there we are learning a lot. We're seeing people find common ground. We're seeing friendships being created through these conversations. But we're still not yet seeing the technology work because it's not launched. But I'm happy to give share some of our plans for what tools we're going to have and how can it assist the conversation. So one thing could be as basic as a live summary of the conversation as it's happening, so it's easier to stay on track. And if people join midway, they're caught up by seeing the summary. It'll say, it'll be able to highlight areas of agreement, but also areas of disagreement that still need to be addressed. And if it's not addressed on that conversation, the AI will prompt you to continue the conversation in another session, and you'll have a clear memory of what still needs to be addressed. So a way to better organize the conversation. Another is helping us not talk over each other. So one of the problems in Zoom sessions and virtual conversations is that when things get heated, people are talking over each other, and you only have one audio output at a time, so it just gets messy. You can't understand what's going on. So the AI will be able to identify when this happens and mute everybody, and then say, "Person A, please explain your position. The floor is yours," and then give each person the opportunity to share their perspective without interruptions. Another cool tool will be if the AI is identifying that people aren't fully understanding each other, it can say, "Person A, can you please explain the position of person B?" We've seen this to be a very powerful form of communication that really helps people better understand each other. You make each side represent the position of the other. Another thing would be means of de-escalation, which we ourselves don't know what the best form of de-escalation is. So the AI will be able to try different techniques and see what works. So for example, if things get really heated, maybe the AI will pause the conversation and do a quick breathwork exercise. But it may also discover that humor is more effective than breathwork. So maybe it'll just make a joke, like kind of just cut the tensions by making a joke. Or maybe it'll identify that some people breath work's more effective and others humor's more effective, and be able to tailor it for each type of person. And lastly, heavy focus on solutions. So the AI will be listening to both sides' perspectives, and then it'll present both sides with a potential solution. It'll say, what do you both think about this? And then both sides will say what they agree with and what they disagree with, and then the AI will learn from that and be able to iterate a new solution, constantly improving the solution, presenting it in many conversations, and over time building consensus around solutions by continuing to present the solution, taking feedback, and iterating on it. So that's currently what we have on the roadmap to build. And I'm sure as time progresses, we'll think of endless other tools we could build. And I'm of course, happy for suggestions if anybody can think of something. But yeah, so that's what we have planned currently.
Wow, Adar. It's amazing. Again, we wish to open it for questions. If you wish to open your mic and ask, or write it in the chat. Yeah,
Just
I
wanted
have
to,
many questions.
just wanted to ask how will the people be identified who are interested in getting involved with this and having the communication?
Is that like a question of can somebody remain anonymous if they want to? Is that what you're asking, or how will we get people to sign up?
Yeah, that's what I want to know, how people will get involved. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of like our means of growth. So right now, what we're doing, I still have my YouTube channel, so I'll do a few live streams a week, and at the end of every live stream, I'll invite people to Discord. That's a platform where we're currently managing our community for an after party. So we slowly drive relevant people to the platform from there. Another way is just bringing in interesting guests and promoting it to the public. So bring in an interesting presenter, maybe somebody who is notable, and then we could promote it through social media that come be involved in not just a presentation, but be able to interact and ask a question for this presenter, right? So that also we believe will bring in more people. So, and then there's also just creating like cool viral content that brings awareness to what we're doing. So we have different growth strategies and ways to raise awareness for our project. And because I brought it up on the topic of anonymity, we recognize it is very important for some people to remain anonymous, primarily Palestinians. So we will allow for that. So there will be ways where you can engage in conversations where you're showing your face and your name is there, but there will also be a way where you could do it where you don't need to show your identity. And we do that to protect their users.
Well, Mayor, dear, do you want to ask? Do you want to bring yourself and ask the questions? There is a bit of questions on the chat from Mayor.
Well, I have 3 questions. I put them in the chat. One is the discourse that you're talking, Discord, is it
Discord,
open to other people to join, or is it a closed kind of group?
No, yeah, it's open to the public, and I'm happy to drop a link for, I'll put a link right now in the chat if anybody wants to join.
Thank you. Then the next question is your YouTube channel. How do we access that?
Let's drop another link. Also, Discord is not always user-friendly at first, so if anybody joins in is a little bit confused, feel free to reach out to myself, or we also have Allah here on the call. Allah is one of our team members who actually connected us with SATYAM, so shout out to Allah. But feel free to reach out to either of us, and we'll give you a run through of how Discord works.
So would you put your link, your email, or how we could reach out to you?
Yeah, I could drop my email as well.
Allah, Habibti, thank you for joining. I didn't notice that you are here. I'm very grateful to also meet you. Hi, حبيبتي أهلا.
Yeah, I'm
هاي
here.
يا قلبي. بنحب نسمع منك. بتحبي تحكي
Um,
من غير كاميرا.
I think Adar is explaining everything perfectly. I don't think I have anything to say. I just want to say that I've been involved in this space for 3 years now. I'm Palestinian, and peace building is something that I'm that I have been interested in, and it is the way that I feel like it actually can make change. And that's why I'm involved in it. And I happen to find HeadOn, and it aligns with my values and it aligns with my goals. And also, like the idea of AI being involved in this was mind-blowing to me. And that's why I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. And hopefully, um, I'll continue with this and hopefully like meet everyone from SATYAM. And yeah, that's mostly it. But about HeadOn, I think Adar just explained everything perfectly.
My dear
Oh,
Allah. Yes,
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my email for you guys if you wanna contact me.
yes.
I would love that so much. Yeah,
Amazing.
so happy to be
Habib.
here. Thank you guys.
Shukran. Thank you, Allah.
شكرا
Thank
لك
you
ماي
for all you do, Habibti. It's been an honor to meet you and
حبيبتي.
to, yeah, have all these little conversations and get to know your work. It's
Yeah, I'm
it's
so excited.
healing.
Yeah, it is very healing to know that there are people that are doing something, especially in our community, our Palestinian
Yes.
community, because it's like a very small group of people who actually believe in this. And when I see that there are other people who are doing their best to make a change, that inspires me so much. And just you, like just meeting you, this has inspired me and motivated me so much.
Habibti.
So I'm so
Thank you.
grateful, very grateful for meeting you.
Habibti. Thank you. Me too. Me too. Habibti, Allah. Yeah, deeply grateful for all your work. I don't know, Adar, I am wondering, I have a question since people
Yeah, I
are
think
quiet, unless someone else has.
yeah, there was one more. But by the way, is your name Myra? Am I pronouncing
It's
that correct?
Mayor. Mayor, and my last name is Alight. I just left my Gmail up there in case people want to contact me.
Mayor.
And the question, I'm a certified trainer with nonviolent communication. I learned from Marshall Rosenberg, and I really am focused on needs as a solution, not solution as solution. And I'm wondering if the AI is being designed to include needs-focused connections.
So yes, but maybe to be able to better answer, we could go into the specific needs. We are going to train the AI on NVC as one of the models to communicate. And I think there's different people are looking for different things. So some might just want to come and like have like a debate. Others are going to want really just like a place to share where the NVC model is going to be um, more relevant. But in terms of the need that I think we're able to address to a large degree, but not entirely, is human connection. Now, nothing will replace in-person human connection, right? There's the hug and the oxytocin that comes with it. We can't solve for that. But today, and we think increasingly as time goes on, people are spending more and more time online, and the time they're spending online is often in these toxic spaces where people are just mean to each other, where you're not building real friendships. So we believe what we are building is a way to have healthy online human connection. Again, it won't fully replace human connection, but we feel like it's definitely going to be a step up from what currently exists. In terms of other needs, maybe you want to share like a specific need, and then I could tell you if we have a solution. Maybe we haven't thought about it yet, but
Huh.
I would like to be able to solve these basic needs if we can.
Yeah. Well, I'm generally at bottom, what I've found in the last couple of decades is that what really matters to people is that they matter. So solving for mattering, does it matter that you're here, that you're speaking, that you're alive, that you're what's going on. The mattering is really something that I have found is relevant to everyone everywhere.
So yeah, mattering, like feeling like a sense of purpose, being seen, being heard. Is that essentially what
But being seen and being heard is a way to check if your need for mattering is attended to or not. So yes.
so
I have a very narrow or maybe wide view of needs, which is that they don't involve any kind of action. They're in the person. So I don't need someone to tell me X, Y, or Z for me to know whether I matter, because the mattering lies within me, lies within the individual. And then how we interact with each other is how we know whether our inner need for mattering is met. Is that making sense what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what comes to mind initially is the the concept of a healthy online community, I think can solve that to some degree, but I will acknowledge that we could probably put a little bit more thought into how else we can enhance that and have people feel like they matter through these conversations. So I feel like we have maybe thought about it a little bit, clearly not to the resolution that you're getting at. So I appreciate you highlighting that, because I think it is something important that we should probably think about a little deeper.
So I've actually, out of nonviolent communication and the tools there, I've developed something called the withing way, how we can be with each other, not winners or losers, but withers. And I'd like to send you what I've written about that
Sure.
maybe that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be influencing AI's
I'd love to
interface.
I'd love to see that, and just a little bit more about what we're doing that kind of I think is similar to being with one another. Is we want these to not just be spaces to have conversations on contentious issues. That's where we're starting, but I see a future where you meet with your virtual crew and you can play games together. You could have the AI create trivia and all different games you could play and have these like friendly competitions with each other. Or you could watch a sports game and the AI will provide like real-time analytics and just these. One way we like to describe it is smart spaces that bring out the best in us. So imagine the AI kind of like your little buddy and can give you what you want for your community to help you guys either communicate better, have fun with one another, get to maybe it could do different icebreakers. So we view this as all part of what we're trying to build. Smart spaces that bring out the best in us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mayor. And
so
Adar,
much.
I see that I also see Dan raising his hand there. Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Hello. First of all, I think just to say that I think that what you're doing, Adar, Ala, and your team, is really laudable, especially in the context of there's so much high tech and especially AI in this particular conflict, being used to automate killing and violence in a really horrible way. And I've often been wondering why there are so many bright minds with incredible skills, and those skills get directed towards war making and not towards peace building. So that's really incredible what you're doing. I think one question that I have is the way that you describe the system, or let's start with that. I feel that very often in having a conversation interaction, the important learning process is in figuring out how to have an interaction and how to facilitate an interaction. Basically, how to become an adult within a conversation. And these are kind of acquired skills, and this is the important part of the conversation, not necessarily what we feel is the topic of discussion. So it's kind of the meta level that is more important in the conversation. And the way that you described it made me feel a bit like the AI may be babysitting the participants in such a way that maybe it's facilitating the conversation on the topic, but not necessarily enabling people to acquire the skills and learn how to do interaction and conversation and communication better. And I'm wondering if you have you've put thought into the AI also doing that in a way, so kind of being transparent in a way in terms of how it's achieving certain things and trying to prompt people to initiate those strategies on their own and to kind of to learn from them so that they can actually implement them, because that's actually the more important part, is like to be able to listen and to accept complex views, have reach some kind of agreement within, while holding different views and maintaining, oppositions and all that. So I guess that's my question for you.
Yes, so great question, and I'm glad you asked it, because it reminded me that there's a feature that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's directly connected to that. What we would like to do is, after every conversation, every participant in a conversation will get feedback from the AI on how they did, what they did well, and what they could improve on. It could be something like saying they engaged in a personal attack and just pointing that out. Maybe they were a little bit condescending. It will be able to pick up on that. Maybe they spread misinformation or engaged in a logical fallacy, so we'll be able to point out to that. And so we feel like that's one thing, to be able to just relay feedback in a private setting, so they're more open to hearing it. And then secondly, we want to reward participants that are really communicating at a very high level. So whether there's, and this we still don't have fully figured out. Well, none of this do we have fully figured out, but how we incentivize certain conduct, there's many ways to go about it, but it could be as simple as people who really engage at a very high level are invited to special private conversations with others who have earned that rank, or there could be some kind of a cool leaderboard of people who are engaging in a very high level. So there's kind of like a incentive and a reward system for engaging a certain way. And we believe that with the feedback we provide will really help people upgrade their communication. And I would say a sign that we're doing it right is that the AI won't need to do all too much. If people are like, people should, we'd like to see people start on the platform, and at the beginning the AI very well may need to be hands-on, but after maybe a few months they're engaging and the AI is hands-off, because they've really learned how to communicate at a higher level and the AI won't be needed. So that's how we're looking at it.
Thank you. That's amazing. Have you thought of a pro version for diplomats?
We are thinking of how to monetize this, and that's, whether it's for diplomats or for enterprises, or whether there's a premium version where you unlock certain analytics. We're hesitant about the pro version because we want every user to get the maximum experience. So we don't know if we'll take in that direction. But yeah, in order for us to really do this at scale, we need to make it a profitable business. There are ways to do it as a nonprofit, but we do believe that will impact our ability to bring this to potentially like billions of people, right? For us, there's no limit. We want every single person in the world that wants to communicate with others to be using this platform. And we think that's probably easier to achieve in what we describe as a profit for purpose. So yeah, diplomats, enterprises. Another cool thing we're playing around with is today there's like this whole world where you support people on Patreon or you subscribe to their Substack. Well, maybe creators and influencers you can subscribe to them on the platform, and then you get to be in conversation with them. Maybe they host a few conversations a week with their community, and then you're essentially paying the creator to be part of this, and that's also, we would take a cut of that. So there's different models we're playing with, and obviously, if you have any suggestions or thoughts, we'd love to hear that.
Well, one thing that has just come up is working with children from an early age as a way of teaching those kind of skills.
Yeah. I mean, I think this brings up a bigger topic of like, what's the future of education? How much will AI play a role in education? I think it scares some people, but I personally did not have a productive time in school. And I think I would have done much better if I just was able to talk to ChatGPT all day, minus the social skills. Like I'd still need social skills, but I think AI education is right around the corner. And if we could play a role in that, that would be an honor. It's not something we've thought about, though, all too deeply yet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Mai, how are we doing on time?
We are still good.
We're still good. Okay,
Yeah,
so we take
we
the
are still good. We can take, yeah.
From the peace camp.
Yeah, we can go until 7 and then the breakout room. So yes, Alex and the group there. Nice.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Adar, first for this power you've got with your YouTube channel first, and then with this idea of AI. This really gives me the feeling of connection to you because you want the same like me, and this is really powerful to hear you, and that you go on and with projects, and because you are like a peace freelancer, and I ask myself, how can you how do you solve the problem of the money? How do you can live with this job? Because for me it's so inspiring. If I could, I would do it also more and more, but I ask myself, yeah, how do you get there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and it's actually something that I've been conflicted about for years because I've been in the peace building space for 11 years now, and I've never done, I don't do this for money. That's not my purpose, but I've always recognized that if I could make a living doing it, then I could spend more time doing it. So there's clearly
Yes.
a fit, but I also felt like it might make people question my motivations if I'm making a living off peace building. It's almost like, in a sense, I'm a war profiteer, just not selling weapons, but selling something else. But I think that internal struggle is, I don't give it too much. It's a voice that I don't give too much, pay too much attention to, because at the end of the day, everybody needs to make a living, and if we can make a living doing something we love and doing something that is positively impacting the world, then we should just accept that and go for it. So I do feel at this point in my life complete with being able to monetize this so I can do it full time. Right now, so I'm an entrepreneur. This is my third company. The other two companies have allowed me to go quite some time now without a salary, but I'm getting to the point where I do need to start bringing in money soon, if I'm speaking fully transparently. But I actually haven't had a salary for years. I've just kind of been working, building companies, doing things, and it's been an honor to be able to do that. So my personal plan, and this could also be a suggestion to others here, I have my YouTube channel, and I do make like 150 a month from ad revenue, and then I have another 100 from Patreon. That's people who want to support my content, but that's not enough to live off of, certainly not here in Israel. The goal is that within the next few months, after we successfully fundraise, we have not yet fundraised, so we're currently actively doing that. Once that happens, I will start taking a salary from the company, so I will just be paid as an employee of the company, and that should, I should be able to live off that. So how can others monetize peace building? Like, I guess there's many ways, but the one thing I would strongly suggest not doing is if that monetization creates a barrier to entry for people, right? If all of a sudden you only give people your time, or you're only willing to give your effort, if there's money, then there's less energy going towards peace building. So I think it's good to look for means that don't kind of stifle people's energy and don't create barriers of entry for people to be involved. So the simplest ways to do that are things like Patreon, Substack, and then revenue from ads on different social media platforms. Another interesting idea is merchandise, right? Merchandise is cool because you're selling something that is then spreading a message. So I recently made T-shirts that say, "From the river to the sea, all the people will be free," which is amazing because yesterday Mai literally said that when she spoke to our community, and I've never really heard anybody say that. Like, I've been saying it for years, and then Mai comes out with it. So that was a beautiful moment. But I think merchandise is cool because, again, you can monetize it, but also every person who buys your merch is then spreading a message of peace. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yes, thank you. And I've got also a second little one. This was just my that I have got a little bit like a bad feeling about this thought of ranking, because I think this is this is a problem of our system that we rank ourselves. So this was a little bit like I don't believe so much in this. Um, but I understand the idea, and I think it's really good that you have got a motivation to go further, and I don't have got a solution, but I just want to mention that, and I think you have got it on your radar. But
Yeah.
anyways, I want to mention it.
Well, no, yeah. So I appreciate the feedback, and I do agree with a large extent that if we can find a way to incentivize people to upgrade the way they communicate without having this kind of like without it being turning into like something too competitive where some people feel like they win and others feel like they lose, I'd say it's probably better to avoid that and find other ways to incentivize it. We haven't fully thought through how to fully incentivize, but I definitely hear your feedback and agree to a large extent. If we do it, it will be done in as conscious of a way as possible. It's not going to be like blood sports, like who's the best communicator, I'll beat you at communicating. I think that'll probably defeat the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had another question. This is Mare. I was trying to watch the film No Other Land. It's not available now in the United States, in any language. And when I was trying to figure it out, I got to the Gather program, GATHR.com, is where you can have. Are you familiar with that program, and are you thinking of using it, or is your program going to be something like it?
So I just opened this now. Engage and monetize your identified audiences and existing. So interesting. Okay, they seem like they're doing something similar, not in the sense of these AI-powered conversations, but more so allowing influencers to monetize conversations with their communities. So thanks for putting this on a radar. It'd be good to see what they're up to, and
Yeah.
even potentially there's room for collaboration.
They did it as the movie, the No Other Land. They did it as a fundraiser for the who that movie was about. And so the money went directly to the people that produced that film.
Oh, so they used it. Okay, interesting.
So
So
I
yeah,
just thought I wanted to have that on your radar if you didn't have it.
yeah, thank you. And in terms of accessing it from the US, I have you tried using a VPN?
I'm gonna pause you here. Let's we wanna we
Okay,
can chat privately about how to access the film.
Mayor, I'll email me, and I think I have a suggestion that might allow you to access it from anywhere.
I also see that then you have a question. Yeah,
You're muted.
don't hear you.
Yeah, but I guess Noah wants us to go into breakout rooms, right?
Yeah,
You can ask your
but
question quickly. We might not
Okay,
have
I'll
time
ask
to
my
answer.
questions
but you
because,
can
okay,
say,
Adar, I
yeah.
want to ask you, somebody who's, in the AI and machine learning space, um, and bring it back, to the situation in Gaza, because I think a lot of the destruction and killing in Gaza is actually enabled by the very extensive use of AI systems. Lavender and Apsora and these systems that actually remove or take out the almost human moral decision, or enable human operators to excuse themselves when they're causing tremendous amounts of damage. And I wonder if you've had any thoughts on that, or if you're engaged in a conversation about that. I know it's a much bigger conversation, and maybe it's not the time to answer that here, but I just kind of wanted to bring that up.
I could answer very briefly, maybe like 10 seconds, and
Great.
then Dan, I'm happy to
Great.
have a deeper conversation on this. So
Mm.
there's no doubt that AI weaponry is terrifying and could actually doom humanity. AI can take us to dystopia or utopia, and I don't really have a way to counter all the negative things it's being used on, but I am trying to at least focus on doing something beautiful with AI to maybe counter the negative that's happening in that space.
Yeah.
And happy to go deeper at some point, Dan. So thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Adar, and thanks for all the questions. Yeah, we'd love to hear a couple voices. If anything, what's moving in you as in from that conversation, from the conversations that you had, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Did you want to talk, Maka? Sorry. Yeah. I was with Mayor in a like small group, two of us, and one thing that came up is that in terms of the sort of social media space, in general, internet, there's so much. It's such a seductive space. Algorithms are really geared towards amplifying anger, hatred, all the more aggression, conflict, and actually work on creating separation, antagonism, and all of that. And the question is that why would be, it's like when you put in front of a child on the table, you put on the one side the sweet that is very, it's very seductive, and then you put the healthy option on the other side, and the child will every time go for the sweet, even though there's another option that would be better for them to engage with. And it's like, how would you counter the fact that the whole of the internet is working against people actually wanting, to adopt what you've got to offer?
Yeah. So like what we're really needing in the world right now is deep human connection, where we look each other in the eye, where we can be together, where we can feel ourselves and feel each other, connection to spirit, and that the whole internet is kind of designed in this way to kind of disconnect us from all of those things. And so can you use a tool that's meant for disconnection for connection? Like, is that possible? And like asking those questions.
So the fact that you're offering people a tool doesn't mean that they'll pick it up and use it. And this is the question. I think some people
Yeah.
will want to use it, but the question is like in terms of really reaching the masses, like Adar was saying, making it available to billions. What would what would bring that about?
Yeah.
Because if people are really attracted, if they're very, very strongly attracted by these other forces, why would they necessarily go for that option?
It's very easy to misuse tools. I see that even with nonviolent communication, which I also teach. Like if you just take it as it's very easily manipulated into something that can create even more hierarchy and blame and shame if it's not kind of used correctly. So it's like, how do you bring the depth and the spirit of things? Beautiful questions. Anyone else have a quick voice before we wrap up?
I just want to, I don't know the algorithm of how we end up in our breakout rooms, but each time I've been with the peace camp in Germany,
Okay.
And so now I'm part of the peace camp, and it's just so beautiful that Felix and friends are together day by day, and the connections, and it's been very, very gentle and quiet, the rooms I've been in with the peace camp, and just so grateful for that quality of feeling into the pain.
Yeah. So the quality of really living together in community, or like the what that can bring, especially as we're here talking about, what are we really
Actually,
doing?
Felix, yeah.
Beautiful.
Felix will be talking to us tomorrow as well. We will, they will share more about themselves, about himself, and what they are doing, and how to also connect more with them. Thank you, Malka and Felix, and all of you, Lotte, everyone, Marco, Barbara.
Okay. We wrap up by, I'm going to put some links in the chat here. Yeah, if you want to join our WhatsApp group, and our community is on Instagram and Facebook, and follow along and support. Yeah, it's so important that we have more people with us. So if you know of other people who also want to be a part of this, please share with them, ask them to join our Zoom calls, come visit us in Bichala. It's really sweet to be in this community with you all. Mai, what would you like to say for?
Thank you, Adar, Habibi. It's been amazing to meet you and talk to you and hear all these new perspectives of AI and peace building, and how do we, hold it now in a way that will truly support our humanity more than, as Dan said, separate or with all the weapon industry and everything else that we are seeing. So grateful that you have such an awareness already, and such an awareness is coming also, this aspect of the AI that is being built. And to everyone, Noah, Habibti, thank you for holding, for your activism, for many years of a friendship and partnership. It's an honor, Habibti, to walk with you and be with you. Alex, Marco again, and Dan and Sivan, hands there. Yes, thank you, and we see you again tomorrow, inshallah, with the camp in Germany.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Maya.
you, love.
Great
Yes,
to
thank you.